Hey, Eric, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. My name is Ed Easton Jr. for USA Today's NFL Wire. Appreciate you taking the time, man.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Definitely. I just spoke with Will Castro, as I think you know very well, and
Yeah.
talking about his brand new show coming out on Roku. Just he gave a little insight into the work that he did with you back in the day. What are your thoughts on just like when you worked with Will? Like, how was that whole process?
Oh man, it was awesome. Will was one of the guys when I got to New York, I was drafted. I remember going to the facility and I saw this building and it said unique. It was like unique auto sports. And I asked one of the older guys, I'm like, yo, is that unique, like the one? And they're like, yeah, that's Will Castro. And I dropped in there with probably with one of my teammates and started talking with Will and just struck up a friendship immediately. And it was just really awesome because he educated you. You didn't feel like you had to buy a bunch of stuff, but he was like, man, whatever you could dream up, we could figure it out for you. So it was really nice.
Definitely cool. And obviously, he has the show where he's going to be teaching students while working on famous cars or celebrities and athletes. He gave me a great quote in regards to just his mindset. He looks at it like as if he's an NFL coach. He made a Bill Belichick comparison and Bill Parcells on how he works with the students. As you,
Uh huh.
yeah, I know you see smiling. As a veteran NFL player, you worked under, well, you played under, many coaches. I'm just curious about your first NFL coach, Herman Edwards, and just
Uh
your
huh.
as a transitioning from college to the NFL. How was that?
Man, it was awesome. It was awesome. Playing for Coach Herm, he's definitely my favorite coach. My favorite coach that I played for. And the cool thing about Herm is that much like Will is doing with these kids, he was more. Um, I guess he was more excited about developing you as a man than as a football player. So he knew that if you could become a good father, become a good husband, be a good person in the community, take care of your business, be accountable, then those are tools that you can take on in life. And that's something that always stuck out with Coach Herm for me was that it was like yeah, he wanted me to be a great player, but he was really consumed with me being a better man, and that's how we all felt. And someone caring for you and taking interest in you, it makes you want to run through a wall for him. So and I can see that in Will and what he's doing with these kids. He's not easy on them. He works hard. He expects their hard work, their attention to detail, and for them to put in their own work as well. And that's how you develop men. And Will's doing a great job of that.
Definitely. And, obviously, we're talking about your career playing in the NFL. You played for the Jets and for the Falcons and for the Lions. I'm just curious now, just about your mindset, especially back then when you worked with a coach or like you said with Herman Edwards and how he was
Mhm.
with you. Is it tough to make an adjustment when you go from coach to coach? Like when you go to a different team, is it tough to kind of readjust your mindset and the way you do things? Because I think a lot of people always hear about going to different teams, but how it affects the player moving forward.
Yeah, it really is tough, because when you move on to a new coach, now you have a whole new thought process and a whole new philosophy and a way of going about business. There's just several coaches that you go through, and it's like you have to learn a new language. It's like learning Chinese for some. Yes, the same plays, but they call it something completely different. The way you carry yourself around the facility, everyone has their own personality, and that personality of the head coach really rubs off on the players, and it shows in the way that they play out there on the field. So it was tough, but it was also a fun challenge. To get to know this coach, to get to know what makes them go, to get an understanding of that and apply it to your game. I learned up bits and pieces from each coach that I played from, and that's from a leadership standpoint, from a playing standpoint, and just a way of looking at the game.
Definitely, and obviously we're on the brink of a new NFL season. I just want to take a quick look back. Your thoughts on the last official NFL game, the Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and how, I think a lot of people are so surprised at the outcome and at the way that the Eagles dominated. Obviously, you're a person that's been in the league. What were your thoughts? Were you surprised at the way it went down in regards to the Chiefs and the struggles they had?
No, I was not surprised. And the reason that I was going with the Eagles is because they did a great job of dominating the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, on offense and defense. You look at them offensively with with the great offensive line, Lane Johnson, Kelsey, or not Kelsey. Kelsey wasn't on the team, but Lane Johnson and the other players, they just dominate. They're playing 3 yards from the line of scrimmage, and Saquon's not getting hit until he's 5 yards down the field. And if you give a player like Saquon that many opportunities in open space, all it takes is 3 or 4 plays, and he's going to hit you and make some big plays. And he did, and that's what he did all season long. And on the defensive side, that defensive line was they're playing on the other side of the ball. It was like Patrick Mahomes was on alert the entire game. He's supposed to be having his eyes down the field, looking at receivers, reading routes, but in the back of his mind, he's worrying about I'm going to get hit pretty soon, and that's how that Eagles team dominated the whole season. They had some great leaders, and they finished it off on the strong note. So kudos to the Eagles and what they did, but that's how the game is won at the line of scrimmage.
I definitely saw that. I think they had all that pressure without actually blitzing the entire game, which I thought was
Right.
the stat I've ever seen, especially in a game like that. I do want your thoughts. Obviously, you're a proud Washington Cougar, back in the day. What
Yeah.
are your thoughts on Gardner Minshew signing with the Chiefs as a backup? I thought that was probably one of the more sneakier signings that's happened
Yeah.
this season. What do
Gardner's man, he's a true pro, and I'm so proud of Gardner and what he's done in his career. He continues to add value to all the teams that he goes plays for, and he's one of those guys. Yes, he has his unique personality, but at the end of the day, he keeps football first. He's a guy who learns the game. He's a student of the game, and when called upon, he's ready. And that's what you have to do. You have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And Gardner does a great job of that. Whenever he's given those opportunities, he's taking full advantage of them and makes the defense pay.
Definitely. And Eric, before you go, I have to get your predictions. Like I said, we're on the cusp of a new season.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you see in Super Bowl 60, NFC, AFC? Who do you got?
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, obviously health has a big is a big factor in who makes it to that deep into the playoffs. But when I look at the teams, in the AFC, obviously the Buffalo Bills are the front runner right now. But I look at the Baltimore Ravens; they're tough. They're built physical. They dominate the line of scrimmage, like I talked about with the Eagles, and they play tough physical defense. So I do like Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens from the AFC side. And the NFC, it's tough. It's tough to say the Eagles because I don't remember the last time someone in the NFC East repeated as NFC East champions. So that's tough in itself. But and then every other team is gearing up to be the best that they can be. Um, Let me see if it's not going to be Philadelphia. Um, that's a great question. I'm going to say somebody in the NFC North. I'm going to say Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions. If they can continue with the way that they've been playing the game, which has been incredible. The one thing that's gonna be a factor with them is can they adjust to new coordinators? They lost their offensive coordinator. They lost their defensive coordinator. Can they make those adjustments and continue to play the brand of football that Dan Campbell likes? And if so, they have a great quarterback. They have great weapons. I like the Lions.
Okay, I like that. Those are good choices right there. Um, Eric, I appreciate the time, man. And, obviously we're looking forward to watching the new Roku show with your boy.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it.
Yeah, check my guy Will out, man. He does a great job with those kids. He's teaching them something, giving them tools to carry for the rest of their life. So shout out to Will and what he's doing, and thank you for your support for him.
Man, thank you for your time. So I really
My
appreciate it.
my pleasure. Nice
All
to
right.
meet you.